Now that the Democrats are in the seat of Congress, control rather of the House, everyone's now expecting a tidal wave of investigations, subpoenas, all directed at President Trump's administration. In fact, Axios says that there could be at least 85 investigation topics that Democrats said they're already targeting or they expect to target. So the question is the Democratic Party right now more interested in investigating rather than legislating? Joining me now from the Wall Street Journal, Jillian Melcher, Kristen Tate, author of How Do I Tax Thee? Scott Bolton is back with us as well. Jillian, let me start with you. It's, Nancy Pelosi, all of the leadership on the Democratic side talking more and more every day. It sounds like they're going to go to war with President Trump, and you wonder whether it's going to be time or space to get anything done.
Yeah, well, I think the onslaught of investigation was something that anybody could have predicted if the House was taken over by Democrats. But I actually think I'm happy when the Democrats don't get things done. I think the areas for compromise right now, infrastructure spending, potentially some tax stuff, paid family leave. But these are all areas where I think Democrats really have leverage to push in a way that expands spending and expands the reach of government. So I think if they're focused on something else other than doing that, I'm kind of all right with it.
Kristen, would you be concerned, though, with those kind of headlines, what it might do to slow the stock market, what it might do to slow the economic gains that we've achieved?
Yes, and I don't think we'll see much progress on the big issues that people care most about. Despite the campaign slogans we saw all election season about health care and migrant children, the Democrats' first priorities are very clear: obstructionism and more investigations. They are salivating over the potentially damaging headlines they think they can get ahead of 2020. Charles, I think they might even move on impeachment, but this is what their left-wing base wants. We know from midterm exit polling that the majority of Democrats cast their vote as a protest against Donald Trump. But I do think Nancy Pelosi is smart enough to understand that as we move towards 2020, she's going to need some successes to point to. So I think they'll achieve easy things like infrastructure spending. I mean, who can oppose infrastructure spending? But the big issues, those won't get done. Immigration, health care, no way. You know,
Scott, on that impeachment thing, Nancy Pelosi did tell The Atlantic, she said, quote, recognize one point, what Mueller might not think is indictable could be impeachable. So she's used the I word herself. What do you make the Democrats going to war once they get back in power in the House, rather than maybe focusing on moving the economy along?
Well, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I may be the only Democrat on this panel. A couple things to keep in mind. One is that there are not going to be 85 investigations. There will be targeted investigations because the Republican House did very few investigations at all. And as a result, that's a really important part of the legislative process. Secondly, I really think that the Republicans and the Democrats need each other. The Republicans didn't get anything done, and they ran all three houses.
They got some big things done, though, Scott. Well, I got to jump in. Scott, I don't mind letting you talk. Believe me, I want you to. But when you start to say things that aren't factual, like they didn't get anything done, we got a pretty big tax bill going through.
If you let me finish, I would have said that. I said they got tax reform done and they got Kavanaugh in. Everything else was a fight because of their own internal war. I actually think the Democrats controlling the House, the Senate with the GOP, both are going to really need each other to move forward, and both the approval ratings are under 40%. And so I actually think they may be able to get something done.
Well,
but
that's
great.
I love your I love your wishful thinking. Let me bring Jillian back into this, though, because infighting is what happens when parties are out of power, get back into power. That's why it took President Obama so long to get Obamacare through, right? But the point is, it could be a good thing. Could somehow both sides have an epiphany that maybe we should work together. Maybe the American people gave the Democrats the House so that there are checks and balances, but not for us to fight like cats and dogs?
Well, maybe I'm a little cynical on this one. I do think one area where there's real potential, where the American public would really like to see bipartisan effort, is immigration reform. But I think we've seen both Democrats and Republicans prefer to have this as an issue rather than have a simple solution to it. So I'm expecting to see on the Democratic side in particular a lot of demagoguing. This is the resistance from the House.
You know, Kristen, the Republicans have said to Democrats, hey, we did this. We went after the president and we made it all about presidential targeting, and it backfired on us miserably. You guys are making a big mistake if you're going to squander the next 2 years, and this is your main goal rather than achieving things. Let's fast forward to 2020, and if indeed This is the path they go down. How do you see that impacting 2020?
Well, this just begs the big question ahead of 2020. What is the identity of the Democratic Party? I really don't think anyone can answer that question. But I'll tell you one thing, if they make their identity just resisting Trump, and that's all they do over the next couple of years, it will backfire on them miserably. It'll work well with that far left base, but independents and moderates, they want to see some real successes.
Scott,
and that's not going to happen if they won't reach across the aisle.
Scott, I am intrigued by some of these new superstars that are emerging. Not the handpicked superstars that didn't win, but got all the millions, but the Joe Cunninghams and the Connor Lambs, because they seem to be a new breed of Democrat. And I don't know that they can, are going to be allowed to operate in that, the way they want as long as Nancy Pelosi's in charge.
Well, that's a real question, whether Nancy Pelosi is going to be in charge or not. I mean, she's been there for a long time. She's raised a lot of money for the Democrats, but look for some resistance to that. I got to tell you, I really think that the people that you named and the moderates that are going to be there, I don't know if something's going to go off in their head, but they've got to get something done between now and 2020, because what are they going to run on? Either party, right? I mean, you talk about the Democrats being demagogues and what have you, but the Republicans have been just as much demagogues. Both of them, their approval ratings are down. And so I think that they're both going to need each other. And now that we control the House and we've got some investigatory power, watch us pump the brakes on the investigatory power. Watch both sides reach across the aisle on infrastructure or perhaps even middle class tax cuts to get something done. We can fight about everything else.
Well, you do know that this is now, we've got this, right? You can get a videotape version of it. You can get it on a disc. We can even email it to you. But you're on record making one hell of a prediction. Scott, appreciate it. Chris and Jillian, thank you both very much.